everybody.
Hoo-doo-hoo.
Welcome to the cast of Stabs. We are here at the cast of Stabs, the StabCast, where we stab casts and we cast stabs.
Yeah.
And I'm Dizzle.
And I'm Mizzle.
And we are here to cast some stabs today, and we're here to talk about The Nun.
The Nun.
One of the first kind of additions into the Conjuring universe. After when they started doing spinoffs.
Well, we haven't done any of them on camera. I don't know.
We haven't.
I think we've done like 1 and 2 for Blog Talk, and then the Devil Made Me Do It one.
Yes, we did. We did do that one,
but we didn't do any of them on camera.
No.
So here we're gonna have to do them again.
Yes.
But The Nun's not so bad to start off with. If we were starting off with the first Annabelle, I'd be like,
No, this is a fun movie to get into because you're either going to think that it's really fucking boring or you're going to think that it's like an epic. And I think that's kind of the lines that it falls in between of being a really good psychological epic and being a little too like, oh my fucking God, when's this thing going to end? And this movie, I think it does a lot of things right. I think The Nun itself is a scary entity. And I also think the lead performance, that dude that was also in Weeds, is amazing.
And the girl, isn't she from Friend Requests?
Yes.
Okay.
And she is good as well, but I think the pastor, is really good in this.
Yeah.
And I do think that he kind of does a good job anchoring the film. But it's a fun movie. The performances are good, but it's more the backdrop. I love a good spooky backdrop. And that's kind of my favorite thing in horror movies. And, I'm a big Tim Burton fan, and I like the darkness, and I like the look of things, and this movie does it really well.
Yeah, it does gothic horror very, very well.
Yes, and it does the whole religious horror, because that is a genre that we've seen so many times, and it's another one of the subgenres within the genre. And, recently I think of that Immaculate movie with Sydney Sweeney, who's selling her bathwater as soap, by the way. I got 10 bars on pre-order.
Oh, God, Daniel.
I'm just kidding. I don't, but, but.
I mean, I knew you loved her, but damn.
No, I only got 3. But Sydney Sweeney in that movie, it kind of plays, it plays a bit similar, but this thing is, it does the backdrop a lot better than that, and a lot better than modern movies that try to do this in my head, because I think it's very eerie and creepy the whole time. You never really know what anybody's motivation is, and that kind of helps the movie.
Yeah. The big difference, though, between me and you is you love yourself a jump scare.
Yes.
And that's what this movie is primarily. This movie is primarily like 2 hours of jump scares.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's a lot of plot, though, too.
For me, I'm not a jump scare person.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed the plot. I thought the plot was actually really good. Honestly, it held my attention more than the first Annabelle did.
Really?
I thought the first Annabelle was awful.
Really?
I'm on that side of people, because normally people go on like one or the other side of the fence on whether Annabelle or Annabelle Creation was better. And I am with those people that say Annabelle Creation was better. I feel like with that movie, we got more of a backstory of what was going on. And also, I just feel like the first Annabelle was just way too slow burny for my taste. Like, it just way too much of a slow burn.
I agree.
Like, if I got to wait an hour for something to happen, like anything, even just a flicker of the lights.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun enough. This movie is when it was like, oh, we can actually make a universe out of this.
Yeah.
Because Annabelle, it felt very much like another spinoff. It just felt like, oh, they're like playing on that toy that they showed in The Conjuring. But in this movie, it's like, oh, there's like a deeper world that they're trying to show us. And I think the Nun is a fun character to explore. And this movie does a good job of it. I don't have many complaints out of it. It was a monster movie. It made a shit ton of fucking cashola. I mean, for goodness sakes, the movie made $366 million on a $22 million budget. So that's kind of what showed them that, like, oh, they do want a horror universe. Because, I mean, this is 2018. This is what Marvel's kicking on all cylinders. The big budget franchise that is at an all-time high. People are kind of fatigued by it now. but 5-6 years ago they were eating this shit up.
Mhm.
And this is one of those. I mean, a lot of different, like the Dark Universe tried and failed overnight with that stupid Mummy remake. There's a lot of things.
And
like,
Wolfman, I heard Wolfman was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to watch it, but yeah, I didn't hear great things about it either. And then they kind of got away with it with the movie that we watched.
Nosferatu.
The Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was supposed to be in that universe, but they made it its own thing once the Tom Cruise Mummy movie flopped ass. And there's been attempts at horror universes in the past, is what I'm saying. And I think this is the only one that got it right ever. And they got it right because every film felt like its own thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like watching The Nun that I needed to see all the Conjurings and Annabelle and everything before I saw this. Yeah. I could watch it and enjoy it as its own thing and then watch the other movies. But, oh, shit! Yeah, and that's what's cool about it. Mm-hmm. And I do think that it works in that little pocket.
Yeah, I agree. I do.
Yeah. Because, I mean, franchises and universe, I mean, that was a big thing in Hollywood for a while. Now I think they're kind of starting to get the point a little bit that it's like, hey, maybe we should just do something original and people might like it again. Like back in the day.
Maybe everything doesn't have to have a universe.
Yeah, maybe if something's beloved, we don't need to remake it and make it shitty. But that's my own soapbox.
Like now everyone's all on the when's Final Destination 7 coming? The Final Destination universe. No. Let it die.
Just give me an original plot.
It's dead now. Just let it be buried.
Yes. And I do love myself of Friday the 13th, 97, if they want to do it. I love.
He is going to forever hold on to that hope.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're giving me a shitty Jason prequel show. So, yeah. And my
they're
buddies
still doing it?
Yeah, my buddy, they've casted it, and my buddies are trying to convince me it's going to be good. And I'm like, you guys are fucking stupid. I don't want more story for that. I just want.
There doesn't need to be any more story.
No, I don't need to see a little kid drown.
He was a deformed kid who was like picked on all the time, and he drowned.
Yeah,
but he didn't know how to swim.
I don't need to see a season of him and his mom being creepy with each other, and then him drowning because some teenagers are having some sex.
Yeah, we're gonna end up having like a Bates Motel kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's gonna be ass. Just put him in the woods with some stoners and have him kill them all.
Well, that's why, like I was telling Daniel, I actually watched one of the new Popeye movies, Popeye's Revenge. And I will say that had they not tried to cram in plot the last 20 minutes, it could have given Friday the 13th, Jason, a run for his money.
Yeah, it could have been all right.
I mean, because Popeye and Jason are kind of like the same character. They're both deformed kids that were picked on and bullied until they snapped.
Yeah.
I mean, but Jason drowned and Popeye, but Tommy, as he was known in this.
I've never seen Popeye and Jason.
Yeah, but like if you were to watch what I watched the other day, you would understand where I'm coming from.
I'm with you.
Like he was literally like shoving things down people's throats, blowing holes in people's bodies. Like, yeah.
The new show, they will get me over and I will watch it and love it if they have a little boy Jason getting picked on and then he eats a bag of spinach and becomes big scary Jason and grabs his machete and starts fucking people up. God. I will watch it if they do that. That's the only way I'm watching.
So you're only going to watch it if they bring Popeye into it.
Or if Jason eats spinach. It's an homage.
Okay.
But this movie didn't have Popeye or spinach or any of that.
No.
It had creepy religious stuff.
Creepy demons. Because Valak is a demon.
It is.
I mean, people don't know. Like, a lot of people know this, but some people just think that they were like paranormal investigators, whatever. But Ed and not so much Lorraine. She was more of just a paranormal investigator and a medium. Yes. But Ed Warren was actually, he had a PhD and a doctorate on demonology.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what his career was.
Yeah.
It wasn't exorcisms and cults and stuff like that. It was demonology.
Yeah.
He looked into the backstory of these demons and how they worked.
That's crazy.
And whatnot. And she didn't mess with that because she felt like she would be taken over by something if she were to open herself up to something like that. So he went to school for it, and she stayed home.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it is crazy, honestly. I mean, y'all can go on YouTube and see it. They had a late night show, like back in the 60s. They did. They had a show called Late Night Talk with Ed and Lorraine Warren. And they would literally have like a full episode dedicated to one of their cases. And Ed would go on with like the whole continuity of it. I believe they even did one on Valak, who is the nun. They even did one on that spirit, because that spirit was the spirit that Lorraine thought was going to take Ed out.
Damn.
That's why they added that in the movie. Because she had actually gotten that premonition.
Yeah.
That Valak was going to be the one that took out her husband.
Damn.
But yeah, it's a fun little thing. I mean, you don't even have to believe it. I mean, these things, they're so trivial as.
But that's what's fun about these is you get to watch the movie and then you get to theorize for hours and talk about it and think what's your take on this. And that's what I like about movies like this, that it's straightforward, but there's also a lot going on to where you can really examine it.
Yeah.
And this one is a bit recent, so I'm not trying to spoil it too much, but there's a couple of twists and turns in here that really makes it worthwhile and really makes it worth the ride. And I think this is a fun one. This is a high recommendation for me in the Conjuring. If you're gonna get the DVD set of the Conjuring universe, or if you're gonna go on Google and try to watch them in order, see which one's the best, this is one of the ones to check out.
Yeah.
Over Annabelle, over a few of them.
Yeah.
I do, and I like Annabelle more. I'm higher on it than you are, but I still, I would recommend this over it. I think this is a fun. There was a second Nun too.
Yeah, and the Nun too.
And I don't remember loving that one as much, but I'd have to go back and check it out. But this one, I think, did do a very good job of what it was trying to do.
Absolutely.
And it was very spooky.
Especially at the end with Frenchie, when you figure out like what his whole story was.
Yes.
Is like, oh, okay. That's creepy as all hell.
Yes.
But okay. So, and I feel really bad for this franchise, for this series, because unfortunately, because of the writer's strike and whatnot that happened, that's why we haven't gotten that new movie.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't gotten Conjuring Last Rites. I mean, it's coming up, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it was like said that it was coming out like next year, but I haven't seen the trailer since then. So we'll see. But honestly, I think that like Stranger Things, it really took a beating because of the whole strike thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was a piece that got lost. And everyone just kind of forgot about it. And then it's like, oh, wait, we didn't finish The Conjuring.
Well, and I think that there has been so many movies in this universe, and The Conjuring was so big in its own right, and that the main franchise in this thing, to where I think movies like this kind of got looked past a little bit. Even though it made a shit ton of money, and people went to see it, obviously. I would have to get the tomato score to see how it did critically, but it made a lot of money, so people went and saw it. But it did kind of, after it was done, it felt like, all right, it's done, and then you moved on. There wasn't a lot of talk about it afterwards. No. Whereas the other Conjuring movies really sit with you. And I think that's the one negative you can kind of put on this movie, is after you watch it, it is a very, it's its own experience. A lot of time, the best horror movies sit with you for days. And you think about it, Sharon talks about it with Seven. We talk about it with different flicks that we've seen. A really good horror movie, you watch it, and then later at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, you're like, why the fuck? It was in the box. Why the fuck did he, why did he do that? And that's what's fun about him. And we're in this.
Or we call each other. We're like, did you know this person was in the attic?
Yes.
The hell?
Whereas in this movie, I'm not calling Mindy. It's like, dude, the pastor no, I'm just kind of over it. And it's like, oh, it was pretty good. And then you move on from it. Yeah. And that's the one thing I can kind of take.
It's a period religious piece.
Yes. And it's not one of the best ones. It's not one of the worst ones. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good movie with good performances in it. But it also, it drags in some areas. And I think that's the only thing about going dark and slowing down a bit and making it very dreary, is you can fall in that trap of getting a bit boring. And this one does it a little bit. So
just a little.
What was your favorite scene in the movie?
Shit. I would have to say probably when they come across that picture and they see that Valak's actually like in the convent or abbey or whatever the hell they want to call it.
Yeah.
Like remember that the picture with all the nuns?
Yeah.
And like you see Valak's like shadow and like the very like and like the background and whatnot. That to me was very creepy because you kind of had to look for it.
It was creepy.
It was one of the scenes that when it did come back to streaming or DVD or whatnot, like you had to rewind it a couple times to see what the hell happened.
Yeah, what was actually going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a creepy scene.
And it's not just because it's dark, because I will have to say, yes, it's a very dark movie. Go. But I will have to say they do a really good job at making Valak somewhat visible.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the pasty white makeup up against the black.
Yes.
I think if they would have done any other makeup on the character, I wouldn't have been able to see it, and I would have driven him nuts.
Yes. Those scenes are very cool. I really enjoy it. What else do we got? What do we think?
I mean, honestly, if you were going to put it up against, like, Immaculate or The Omen, the beginning that came out.
Yes.
Like, or Rosemary's Baby or any of the religious pieces that have come out over the years and stuff. I think that it could hold its own.
Yeah.
With a couple of them. Do I think it's as good as like Rosemary's Baby? No.
I think it holds up strong. I think it beats Immaculate. I think it
yeah.
beats the new Omen movie. I don't think.
Well, the new Omen was trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The OG Omen shits all over it, but the new one, I think it beats, and I think it beats Immaculate. I think it loses to Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
But it's a fun period piece, and if you're into these type of movies, I think you should definitely watch it.
Absolutely.
This one does get a positive review for me. I'm not the highest on it, but because when I'm in a movie and I'm trying to be invested and there's things taking me out of it or times where I'm getting bored, that's how I know it's not a great movie.
Okay.
But it is a good movie. But there are times where it drags a little too much. It can be a little too slow. Yeah. And I don't think that this is an extremely. I'd have to see what the runtime was, but it feels like a fucking almost 3-hour movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, period pieces have a really bad habit of doing that.
Yeah.
Even period pieces that aren't horror, like even like ones that are like Little Woman, Legends of the Fall, like those kind of genres. Still, like those movies, like. I was even arguing with my mom the other day about it. I was like, Legends of the Fall was at least 4 hours long. And she's like, dude, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was 4 hours long. And she's like, Mindy, it was 2 hours.
Yeah. And this is 96 minutes. This is a crisp hour and a half. And it doesn't feel like it. So that is one of the negatives I will put. But there is a lot of fun stuff in here. And when you can get into it, it is a really creepy, scary, unique type of movie, and I do enjoy it. I'll go up to a 6.9 for it.
Okay.
6.9 Vaticans.
His name is Valak. Get the demon's name right one of these times. One of these times we're gonna end up being haunted.
I'm talking about the Vatican.
Oh, the Vatican. Okay. Lucky insurance.
What are you giving it?
I would give it 6.3. Haunted Bibles.
All right. So we're pretty high on this one. Mindy, what do you want to do next week?
I have no freaking idea. Right. We do need to. I need to check out my schedule because we do need to watch Fear Street's Prom Queen.
Yes. You want to do that next week?
Let's try and we'll try and get that done for plan. You guys.
If we can't get to it, we'll do something else, and we'll let everybody know on the tiki-taki.
Yeah.
But all right, this has been a fun StabCast. Give everybody a fat hooty-hoo.
Hooty-hoo!
And we will see everybody next time.
Bye, guys.
We love you all a lot. Get back.